dear ones. I will not comment on all the symbols in your sacred geometry. The basis of all symbols, we can say, is what is called flower of life, which is the overlap of several circles, forming intersections that resemble flower petals. From there, many symbols were assembled. As I mentioned yesterday, the most enigmatic is that of Metatron, the Metatron cube. Looking at a flat shape, it does not resemble a cube, but if you look for the three-dimensional shape, you will notice that the overlap of several polygons assembles the Metatron cube. This activation of the Metatron cube has already been spoken by me. This cube remains, after activating it in your bodies. It is as if you are protected inside a box. It's like you are totally protected from the outside world. I will compare it with my cloak. You put on my robe, and it doesn't come off. It is there, but the strength with which it attaches to your body depends on your vibration. As you go through moments of imbalance, my mantle practically extinguishes, because as your vibration falls, it practically disappears. If you vibrate again, if you vibrate line again, the mantle is replaced. There is no need for you to be replacing the cloak. The cloak is there. To make you understand concretely what I am talking about, it is as if the mantle is invisible, and as the light grows in you, the mantle is taking shape again. But it never leaves, just the more invisible it is, the less strength it has. So, when you want to reactivate the mantle, just vibrate light, and be grateful to have the mantle, my cloak, on your back, on your bodies. When you want to reactivate the mantle, fill yourself with light and say, "Gratitude Archangel Michael for having your mantle." Just that, and the mantle automatically recomposes itself, and protects you. You don't have to put it on all the time. It is there, only it may not have the full function, due to your vibration. Likewise, Metatron cube. When you activate the cube, it does not fade and return. You don't need to activate at all times, just like my cloak. When you want to activate the cube, fill yourself with light and ask for the cube's protection. Archangel Metatron, may your cube protect me from all means and keep my energy intact. Immediately the cube is activated, and you are fully protected. As you can see, it is an extremely powerful symbol. We can mention other symbols, which many of you have seen in photos that circulate on your internet. Perfect symbols that are drawn on your crops, that you call crop circles. Much has been said, much has been speculated, but everyone has always known that these symbols were not made by anyone here on this planet. But no one has ever seen a ship doing anything. Nobody has ever seen how this is done. Of course not, because this is done in a higher dimension, and then projected here, on your surface in third dimension. Do not wait for a ship to land on top of a plantation, and to keep beaming the plantation and everyone watching what it is doing. I can make an analogy with something very simple that you have here on your planet, a stamp, where you force that figure, and it is stamped on the paper. It is more or less the same thing. It is not done at that moment. It is assembled in another dimension and passed through astral projection here. So you will never see it being done. It will just come out of nowhere. Ready. It is like a big stamp, invisible, which only when touching your third dimension becomes visible to you. This has always been the case. What do these circles mean? Very well, they are small portals that are being opened in various parts of the planet. Why don't they appear on the entire planet? Because there are the right spots for them to be placed. There are the exact coordinates for the entry and exit of energies and beings of light. So there is a great portal there. Very soon you will have access to much more information than you have today about these circles. All your governments know where that comes from, all without exception. But nothing is said to you. So, back to the symbols. Throughout the centuries you have always observed in your caves, the symbols made by your ancestors. Many different languages than the ones you use today. In the past, there was no written language, as you know. It was all symbology. Through the passage of time, Enlightened people came to this planet to evolve terrestrial civilization. And then you started to evolve on many points. But the symbology has been around for a long time, and everything is very well orchestrated. We are talking about the pyramids again. That is a great symbol of power, because at a certain point in that pyramid, there is such a concentration of energy that you cannot imagine, able to keep a non-living being, not alive, but keep the structure of that outfit for a long time, without the degradation that exists when you lose that human outfit. The tips of the pyramids are receptacles of very powerful energies. So everything in there receives a much greater energy than what is around. The symbols that you have, statues, everything comes from the past. Everything comes from the creation of your planet, the origin of civilizations, but I'm not going to go back to that. We are talking here about sacred symbology. Back to the subject, I said yesterday we were going to talk about soul, the symbology and the soul. Yesterday I said Merkaba is the representation of your soul. Many did not understand, many were thoughtful, because that was not what they knew Merkaba was. When your soul is created, she goes through several stages of evolution, but she is also subdivided, and every point, every little piece, remember the figure of the octopus, is spread across the universe, so that each one follows a trajectory. What is the purpose of this? Why does the soul have to subdivide? Think about this, if the soul were just a single piece, and if she was, in those first dimensions, a lazy soul, who didn't want to evolve. Remember, each soul responds to the environment in her own way, none is the same as another. So she would be that soul that all is fine for her, she doesn't want to do anything, and she would stay there forever. So what is the point of dividing the soul into several pieces? As there are many, each one has a posture, each has a path, and there is a piece that is always the most interested, most studious, in evolving. So the more the pieces evolve, they don't give a choice to the pieces that are further down, but to make them evolve too. So nobody stays still. All the pieces, within their limitations of means and time, are evolving. So this is the soul. What good would it do for a soul to have a single piece, in a single place, in a single environment, always living the same thing? What would she learn? Everything about that environment. But if the soul has several pieces, each piece is in a different environment. Some are not evolved, some pieces are highly evolved. So what happens? That soul is gaining knowledge, gaining intelligence. So they are souls that many times, some pieces, are already in very high dimensions and bring all that knowledge to the other pieces. Then suddenly someone, I will give an example here in your third dimension, has a brilliant idea, an idea that no one had ever had, those ideas that transform the world, those ideas that make the world evolve. Where do these ideas come from? That's exactly how they happen. They are future times, higher dimensions, that are lived by pieces of that soul, and are brought to all the other pieces, that still don't know that. And great ideas arise. Everything is very well orchestrated and planned. When we want a being to do something very important on his planet, this soul is guided to pass on to the other little pieces, so that causes an evolution. Everything is very well accompanied. Each evolutionary point of each environment, of each planet, is very well monitored, and the right souls have this role. All have the possibility of being a soul, as you say, important, a soul that brings knowledge and evolution. All, there is no separation of souls. This would not be a posture of our Father, Mother God. Privileges do not exist. There are no privileges on our part. There is recognition of the effort of each soul. You, as soul, seek evolution. This is the meaning of each soul, to evolve. Many try very hard. Many give everything they can to evolve. Remember, when a soul thinks about evolving, she doesn't just think about her, she thinks of the whole, how it can be important to the whole, and to evolve the whole. So this is all observed. This is all analyzed, and when a soul strives to act in this way, it is chosen to bring those ideas back to those lower dimensions. The ideas that will make that environment evolve, that means overcome a great difficulty. Imagine for yourself, what was the discovery of electrical energy in your world? What did this bring evolution to your planet? I think it was a great revolution, because machines could be created, food preservation means could be created, which you didn't have, your communications, and so on. So this is how some beings receive this information, from higher dimensions. It is the very pieces of that soul that are up there, sending information to those below here, thus they can be a point of evolution in the world. But what does all this have to do with symbology? Many may ask, these pieces, can they move between the dimensions? For example, you will evolve into the 5th dimension. This is not normally done in the physical body, this is done by the soul, not the physical body. What is happening here on this planet is a very pioneering moment in the universe. But that is another matter. So how do souls migrate from one dimension to another? Merkaba is the representation of the soul. Every soul has her Merkaba. It is like a protective layer of the soul. So it is part of the soul. Whoever searches, will find the figure of Merkaba. There are 2 tetrahedra inverted and interspersed, and the soul stays inside and walks between the dimensions. Oops, does soul walk between the dimensions? How do you think, that many times, you who have been in the Arcturian ships, in the Pleiadian ships, how did you get there? Your souls are protected within the Merkaba, when you are taken there. It is not an astral projection how your soul goes there. So, how to protect your soul in this transition? Remember, you are in 3D, the ships are in 5D. How do you get there? Protection is necessary, so that your souls do not suffer this frequency shift, and Merkaba takes care of balancing the soul's frequencies with the environment. So this is how you move between here and other dimensions without the soul undergoing any kind of change, any kind of alteration. Because the soul is the whole. Each piece of the soul is in a different dimension, so how to move between the dimensions, through the Merkaba, which is the light body that you have. So Merkaba is part of the soul, it is the representation of the soul. The soul cannot live without the Merkaba, it is not something that the soul gains when she wants to move, it is the soul's light body, so it is also part of the soul. So, little by little, you are understanding the importance of certain things for your souls. The dark created an energy grid around Gaia, blocking the entrance of the central sun energies. What do you imagine this grid to be? If it prevented central sun energies from entering, what do you imagine that would be? Something like a sieve? Of course not. It is as if you were inside a large closed ball. Obviously, this ball did not prevent you from seeing the sunlight, otherwise you would discover what was right up there. But it was all closed, why didn't you see it? Because it was not a grid in the 3rd dimension, it was a grid in a higher dimension. So you didn't see it. When we said that we already destroyed this grid, did you see anything happen? Of course not. This was done above, where the ships are. Do you see the ships? No, you don't see them, because they are in the 5th dimension. The symbols serve to be the starting point for something, the fertile ground to create something, which can be good or bad. Using the symbols correctly, gives you, I will not say powers here, but it can often bring you protection and balance. Some holistic therapies use symbols to access the energies in the astral, and those symbols have the power to attract energy and make it usable. Anyone who knows a little about the history of the Pleiadians, knows that they love symbols, and each symbol they make has an intention, has a function, which if used correctly, is a very powerful symbol. Each star race has its own symbologies. There are ways to use this type of device to generate an energy point, to create a portal, to concentrate energy, however you want. I am here reinforcing this issue, because you need to be very careful. You need to be very attentive to what you carry on your bodies, the symbols that you see. This is cute. I'll put it on my bedroom wall, and you don't even know what that means. So I want to warn you a lot about this. Caution. Watch out for the symbols you use. Be careful of the things that you tattoo on your bodies. Watch out for the things you put on your home walls. This is serious, my brothers. This is very serious. Pay attention to everything. The moment is of great attention, discernment. It is up to each one of you to do a work of discovery, of interiorization, a work of knowledge of your soul. The veils are falling. You will remember a lot. Many of you have been here for a long time and have many lives. When we say that you will remember everything, do not expect that you will remember each of the incarnations, because it would be a breakdown for your minds. It is a lot of information for a single moment. So exactly what will you remember? What was important to your soul? What were the important moments for your soul? Those moments that made a difference to your soul. Mainly you will remember the moment when you arrived here, why you came here. This is the most important moment of your souls. This moment has to be very clear in your mind, so that you do not repeat lessons, so that you can really fill your chest and say, I learned my lesson, and continue with your soul on your evolutionary path. Do not allow it to happen anymore. So my brothers, attention, extra attention. Every time the moment gets closer, everything is being prepared to disorganize. No, they haven't given up yet. They know they lost. They are no longer under any illusion of winning this battle. It is already lost, but they will not give up. They just haven't destroyed the planet yet, because we destroyed their weapons. That was their idea. Since we cannot stay here, no one will either. We are going to destroy the planet. No, they won't. So nothing has happened yet. That's why we were so cautious. Therefore, what you call delay, for us it is not delay, for us it is improvement. Be careful with the things you see around. Nothing that is appearing in your skies is real. This is another maneuver. For what purpose? The aim is to put these images in the sky and make something bad happen down here, for you to connect one thing to another. So be careful, don't be fooled by that kind of thing. If we have to appear in your skies, we will appear. We will not be just figures or drawings, contours. If we have to appear, we will appear. We will put on our human clothes, for you to see, because each one of us has a human clothes, to appear when it is necessary. So, be very careful with what you see. Be very careful with what you receive. I'm not here talking about symbology for nothing. There is a reason. It is a warning to all of you. Watch out for symbols, as innocent as they seem. Do not use anything that you do not know. Do not use anything from sources that you do not know. Be alert, very alert. I know very well why I'm saying this. Keep protection. Who hasn't activated the Metatron cube yet, do it. Who has not yet put on my cloak, put it on. My brothers, difficult times ahead, times of truth, but also a time of many lies. Do not be shaken by the things that will be said and shown. Be firm. Be ready. When doubt comes, shout out loud, Archangel Michael, show me the truth, and I will show. Call for me at all times, D will be there, and will show the truth. I am the Archangel Michael. I am more and more excited about all the changes that will come, and I want to share this excitement with all of you, but with the certainty that you totally believe in me.